Well, I'm taking my time putting back the old Camino together. And, you know, I was trying to make sure these valve covers are very much leak-proof. And I don't really like these rubber gaskets. They're rubber cork or rubber Felpro gaskets. And, you know, they're reusable. They haven't been in there that long, so I was going to reuse them. But one of them actually leaked a little bit, probably because of the valve cover itself being a little warped. But what I like to do is, so these don't squish out, I like to put some regular weather strip adhesive on them. And I'll clean off the surface of the gasket and also where it's glued to the valve cover with like starting fluid, acetone, lacquer thinner, or something like that. I usually use starting fluid because what's going on in the Wally world? This is my cleaning agent right here, better than carb cleaner. So I'll clean it off with a rag and I clamp it together. And you cannot put RTV with rubberized gaskets. It doesn't work. Actually, it'll leak. Possibly that stuff, Permatex, the right stuff might work. I never tried using that with rubber gaskets, and I don't know if I want to use that with this because it'd probably stick it on there too good. But RTV works with cork gaskets and paper gaskets, you know, as an extra insurance, or just plain no gasket, right? But this is kind of thick, so probably something like this, you could probably use the right stuff. They call it the right stuff in Permatex, maybe. But it would probably squish out, so I want to use the gaskets. One thing I found that does seal with rubber gaskets is this junk. Permatex high-tech spray gasket sealant part number 800865. You can see it's like a red color. There's a little bit left in this can. I ordered 2 more cans of it. What I'll do is I'll spray it on a Q-tip, go all around there, and you know, clamp it down, and usually that freaking holds it in there pretty good. These valve covers were a little bit distorted. That's probably part of the reason why one of them didn't seal quite well. Because when they originally they were leaking ever since I had the car. But what I got for them later on was these spreaders, and the spreaders, you know, that's what's supposed to be on there. They just had like a washer in there, so it just kind of crushed down right where the bolt was. You want to have the spreaders on there. So, but still, one of them leaked a hair. Still a little bit. The other thing I got was a little bit longer bolts, because some of the bolts were a little bit short, and I didn't quite like that. So I went down to Lowe's, got some longer bolts. I'm kind of nitpicking this thing, you know, but it's like, you can see it's sunny out, but it's getting ready to rain again, and that's kind of slowing me down. But I already got the valves adjusted. I got this junk on there, the pre-lube, and their Johnson, what do you call those, lifters and stuff. And I ordered some more not this junk, RTV for doing the intake. I'm probably going to reuse the original intake, but I want to make sure all this stuff is correct. You know, it's like aggravating. I don't like any engine oil leaks at all, none, because when you get an engine oil leak, what happens is it gets on your exhaust manifold frequently, and then you get like the smoke coming up from the engine, like when you're at a light. You know, idling at a traffic light or something, you'll see like a little bit of smoke coming up from the engine if your valve covers are leaking slightly. It's not a big deal. I mean, a couple drops of oil will make, you know, some smoke, and it's not really like leaking out a lot. It's aggravating, and it stinks too. So, but I'm figuring this is going to work. You can, you know, when you glue these down like this, and I got them clamped with device grips, and on one side I have the masking tape so it doesn't scratch the paint, which is nitpicky too, right? And you know, the gasket was chemically cleaned, the surface was chemically cleaned. So when I bolt these down, these are going to be, you know, glued to the valve cover, and they're not going to move. They're not going to go anywhere. Now, one type of gasket you could buy that is guaranteed they're not going to leak for crap is Moroso. But the gaskets are like 50-55 bucks just for valve cover gaskets. And you can reuse those damn things. Now, if you're going to be out, adjusting your valves all the time, so you have a solid lifter cam, and maybe you're adjusting it for, or maybe you're adjusting your valves for when you go to the track. Maybe you're putting them at an 8th turn or 0 latch, and then when you're driving down the street, not at the track, you have them at a 1/2 turn tightness. Maybe that would be good valve cover gaskets to have, because you can reuse the Moroso gaskets. They're blue ones, right? Those suckers, man, they're like a silicone gasket. They will seal up really good. But these are the Fel-Pro. They're not that bad, but I never really, if you got aluminum valve covers, and you don't need the spreaders then, usually they'll be nice and straight, and if everything's chemically clean, everything's good. But I found that even if you use any kind of rubber gaskets, you can use this in conjunction with the rubber gaskets, not RTV. You can use this, and this stuff is also resistant to gasoline. I like using this stuff for the carb to intake manifold gaskets too, because you can reuse those a lot of times. And even when you reuse them and you clean them off chemically with like starting fluid, acetone, or lacquer thinner or something like that, and you put this stuff on them, they seal better than just even a brand new gasket by itself on a clean surface. This stuff is some really great stuff, and hardly anybody knows about it. They know about RTV, but they don't. This is like the old school stuff, and it's like it works with any damn thing. So I'll be using it with these rubberized gaskets, and part of it is why this thing doesn't seal so perfect sometimes. It's not like it's really bad, but the casting on top of the head is kind of rough. And the rubber crushes down in the casting, but still it's not a perfectly flat machine surface. It's kind of rough, and that's probably because, I don't know, maybe it's because it's old, maybe it's got corrosion from a million years ago. If that was a perfectly machined surface where this gasket was laying on the head itself, it would probably work without this stuff. But it's a little rough. It's a little rough. So with this stuff, it works good. But now, like on the side where the gasket is to the valve cover, it's actually glued on there. So I clamp it, I let it sit for freaking, I don't know, it's 12 hours or something like that. And then I'll do each one of them. I do one half, then I do the other half, and each one of them. And you know what? That kind of nitpicking attention to detail, once you put it back together, you kind of forget about it, So it's, I could do this a lot faster, but I don't really give a crap. I'm just taking my time because I use that car, I use this car, I use that car. You know what I mean? It's like I won't be using this car anyway because I'm using this car because this car's blocking this one now. So, I ain't in a hurry. So, but this gasket is on here nice and solid now. It's like nothing's going to happen like when I torque it down where it's going to go like this, because this manifold I think it's slightly bent. But with the spreaders, it seals pretty good. And with that and the spreaders and this thing being glued down, it should be 100% perfect.